This is Dirshu Mishnah Brura as we begin a new Siman. Siman Reish Non, the halachas of Achana for the Su'udais of Shabbos. And the title already begins by teaching us Hachanais HaSu'udais LeShabbos, how we're going to prepare for the meals on Shabbos, for the Su'udais on Shabbos. Says the Mechaber, Yashkim Avda, Yashkim Ba'boiker, Bayoim Shishi. Once you get up early on Friday morning, why lahachin tzarchei Shabbos? Va'afilu yesh lekama avodim. One has many maids, one has many people to attend to his needs. Is still l'sham shoy, still yishtadel. He should exert himself. Lahachin ba'atzmai shum davar, to some level of preparation. L'tzarchei Shabbos. Why? Kedei lechavdoi, to honor Shabbos. And the Mechaber gives examples from the Gemara. Rav Chisda would do what? Mechatich yarek tak tak, would cut the vegetable small. Rav Yosef mevakin would chop the wood. Rav Zera like Israel, light the fire. Rav Nachman metakin abayis would fix the house. Machnes kilim matzich l'Shabbos, and bring in the utensils for Shabbos. Umefanek lichol, and remove the weekday utensils. Umeilhem yalmid yilmoid kol adam. Every person should learn. And you shouldn't say, it's beneath my kavod. If it wasn't beneath Rabbah and Rav Zera and Rav Yosef, it's certainly not beneath your kavod. Because that is the honor to honor Shabbos. Says the Ramav, it's covered Shabbos as it prepares everything for eating. So we begin with the Mishnah Brura, Sivkatan Aleph. Says the Mishnah Brura, Sivkatan Aleph, Yashkim Ba'boiker. We're getting up early Friday morning. Mishnah Brura quotes a pasuk to the Siv, they prepared everything they brought, V'goymer, Achanya, Dumya, Tehava. Preparation is similar to bringing it. The Havas Haman, and the bringing of the man. When did they bring in the man? It was first thing in the morning. So to preparing for Shabbos should be right away in the morning. Right away after you say Shema, right away after you daven, you start preparing for Shabbos. Says the Mishnah Brura, and through even the question of the Mishnah Brura, it brings out the severity of how important it is to prepare mamish right away for Shabbos. Says Mishnah Brura, let's say you have a shir. Let's say after davening, generally, you go to a shir. So the question is, wait, maybe preparing for Shabbos, we just brought down a pasuk, maybe you shouldn't go to your shir. Says Mishnah Brura, no, then don't be mavatzlet, which causes the same simulation of, as you will see. Let's say they only sell in the morning, and you're not going to buy what the item you want after you learn, then incredible. Let's say there's one local store and they sell fresh challah, and if you don't go first thing in the morning, you're not going to get the challah, you're not going to get that fresh challah. Says the Mishnah Brura, don't learn. First go and buy the items and only afterwards learn. Let's say they sell early in the morning, you could even go and buy the items before you daven. Then, if it's not going to be available after you daven, then you should buy it. And only afterwards go daven. Of course, the Zman has come. Therefore, make sure to say Shema. Says Mishmur, is not included in the Maimer Chazal of also Asal Chavsei Kedin Sheisbalo Shazeh Chavsei Shemayim. Why? Because this is Chavsei Shemayim. So teaches Mishnah Brura this incredible Chiddush. Remember in Eretz Yisrael, there were times that there were those that said that certain challahs that they liked for Shabbos were delivered early in the morning, and if they waited till after they daven, they're not going to have that challah. So according to the Mishnah Brura, say Shema, and it's not included in doing your chafatzim, because it's not your chafatzim. You're preparing for Shabbos, and therefore you go even before you daven. But Yom HaShishi on Friday says Mishmur Sivkatan Beis V'hu Yisur Tov Mishnektem Yom Chamishi. Says Mishnah Brura, it's better to buy on Friday than Thursday. Why? Sheminkar Yisur Julikavat Shabbos. It's more recognizable that you're doing it for Shabbos. Of course, if it's something that requires a lot of achana, then you do it earlier. You have to salt. Then Yishlach comes Yom Chamishi. Emma Bachashu might say, Let's say the meat on Thursday is not as good. And you might not have good meat on Friday. Still, Yantin al Yom HaShishi. So here we see even further the importance not only of the preparation, but we see the importance of having the most gishmak of food for Shabbos. Umistavra to be on the short Fridays. She says, Mishtabura, if it's better than anything you could do on Thursday. V'toiv, and it's better. She'emra kol davar she'kaina, says Mishtabura, a famous line. On every item that you buy for Shabbos, what should you say? Zehu lechvayda Shabbos. Why? And this line of the Mishabura is repeated. Ki adibar poyel harbe b'kedusha. Because words create the kedusha. And even if you prepare early in the morning, says Mishabura, still, you should prepare even closer to Shabbos. You should have two preparations. You can remember Shabbos on Sunday. Let's say you have something good that you see on Sunday. Right away, you think of Shabbos even on a Sunday. What would he do? Everything he ate was to cover the Shabbos. Why? Because I might have no. He would go to the store and he would find something geschmack. You would say Zulu Shabbos. And then what happened? And then on Monday, he found something even better. So you say, okay, that which I bought on Sunday, I can eat. And then the second night, he would leave until Shabbos. So what happened? It happened that his dinner on Monday was for Shabbos, so that he could leave the next one over for Shabbos. Zaki didn't do that. That he would always have bitachon, that'll get what he needs closer to Shabbos. Many paiskim and the Shartzin of your quotes are Zura, Darki Moshe, the Bach, L'Magen Avram, Sharachreinim. They say the Beis Shammai is maskim to Beis Hillel. Ella, She'eboiteach ba'Hashem, she'bevadei yasmin lo l'Shabbos maniyav mishar yom. It'll get something even better. In order to strengthen his bitachon, I know you can't. We don't have such bitachon. So we should not be doing like Beis Hillel. We don't have such bitachon that we know for sure we're going to get something good as it comes closer to Shabbos. But rather, what should we do? What we should do is we should, at the beginning of the week, already when we find something good, you buy it for Shabbos, and then you buy something better, then you eat that one for Shabbos. And it's not common. Shabbos, of course, you leave for Shabbos. Mitzvah. Now, says the Mishnah, he adds in a second halach over here. Mitzvah litay mikol tavshil erev Shabbos. Now, that word mikol is a big word. Says Mishnah, it's a mitzvah to taste each and every food before Shabbos, to make sure they're prepared appropriately. Eating each and every item before Shabbos, says the Shulchan Shema, bevadai hi mitzvah. It's a mitzvah. V'remez lozeh Toi'ameh'a chayim zachu. The famous line that Toi'ameh'a, those who taste from it, will merit life. So, a lot over here. Let's start with some of the Dirshu notes. Says the Dirshu, this mitzvah of Echinu says in this Kareletz, there's two details in the mitzvah of Echinu and the preparations of Shabbos. Number one, to worry that everything is prepared for Shabbos. And number two is to actually be personally involved in the preparations for Shabbos. And not just that you should be prepared, that's a separate detail, but also to actively preparing. Again, so it's two things. Number one, you should have everything prepared. But number two is that you should do it actively. That's included in the Vichinu, which is the reason why we saw at the end of this sif, which we'll explain more tomorrow, that these Tanaim and Amarayim did on their own the Shabbos preparations. Continues the Dirshu that if you have a shir katzav, and this din the Hashkim Aboikir says in this Kareletz, is davka on one mutalav that he has to prepare everything himself. But someone who has others that can help him prepare, even though, of course, he has to do something, he doesn't have to get up early. So the din of this girl is explaining the second detail, the secondary din of Hechinu is only also as a practical side of it. If you have other people to prepare for you, then you don't have to personally get up early. And continue the Mishnah Berurah. Excuse me, that was Miyad Baboiker. Continues Mishnah Berurah Shir Katzav. Even if you have to learn a little bit less, as Ramah will teach us in Reish and Aleph, says Mishnah Berurah over there, still make sure to do Shnai Mikra, Ve'echa Targum, and if you do such, that's considered a Shir Katzav, and you don't have to worry that you're going to continue, and you're allowed to do that even before you start your Shabbos preparations. Regarding buying items in Erev Shabbos, where you learned in Peites, like you're allowed to buy them before Shachris. Why? Because this is called Chavsei Shamayim, as we explained. It's not your own Chavatzim, it's Hashem's Chavatzim. Similarly, for Yantif, we'll learn in Tavkov Chavtes, Shema'achrim Yantif Lava Lebesa Knesses. Why? In order to make sure you have everything prepared. And then we spoke about when we should start Shabbos preparations. So we had this Machlekes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. And number 6, Dirshu points out, even though it's Tirchi Gedayla to buy an Erev Shabbos, still, I've seen this before the Beis Shammai Beis Hillel, so the importance of Erev Shabbos, if it's better, it says Aruch HaShulchan, is a special mitzvah to buy in an Erev Shabbos. Also, when you bake for Shabbos, it says Beralach and Rishman Beis, you saw this in the beginning, it's best to bake on Friday. And the pasuk continues, it's mashma, it's better to bake on Friday. And therefore, and now, so the Dirshu points out a famous discussion in the Paiskim. If you bake and you cook for many Shabbosais and you freeze it, says in Krelitz, you're not getting the full din of Echinu Yaviu. And certainly if you buy prepared food, says in Krelitz, because you're memayit in the Kavod Shabbos, because you want to be the one personally involved in it. But Dirshu over here, of course, points in, someone doesn't know how to bake, and he bakes the horrible chalas. It's not a maila in the Kavod Shabbos. But of course, it's that delicate balance between personally being involved. And similarly, we'll point out about doing things on Friday. Avada, there's the extra maila to do it on Friday. But when it's impossible, if someone says, okay, I'm going to do everything on Friday, and then his Shabbos is going to be a disaster, he's not going to be ready for Shabbos, then similarly, of course, he should do it earlier. Continues over here, Dirshu over here with the Granny Tainis, Shein v'chamishi, when there's no rain, Tavkov Ayin Aleph, you're allowed to buy things all the way from Thursday. We open the stores on Thursday for Shabbos. Mishpur over there says that's Davka, buy the stores that are selling food, but not the stores that are selling drinks. Why? So that the drinks you should be able to buy closer to Shabbos. Again, just bringing out that when possible, of course, everything should be done at Erev Shabbos. Someone knows, and this is what we just pointed out, Dirshu number 7, that he's not going to be able to prepare everything on Friday. He says the Sefer Nilchei Yisrael, he's chayiv to prepare earlier, and often this is a scenario, whether it's kids at home, whether it's one's job, and they know that Lamaisa, they're not able to do it on Erev Shabbos, then they have to do it earlier. Machzah Shekel says that you should say Zula Kavod Shabbos, because every Dibar creates a Chala Kedusha Shabbos on that item. So it makes it real that when you buy something, you say Zehu lekavoid Shabbos. And then we go into the mitzvah of Toi'ameh'a, of Toi'ameh'a. First we said that we should prepare a second time of Ben Hashmashais. Says the Torah Shabbos, the Aruch HaShulchan, the Magen Avraham means a little bit before it gets dark. And the schar for one who tastes the food of Shabbos, the Toi'ameh'a, says the Machzer Vitri, you get long life. And he adds on the Machzer Vitri that in order not to come to kas on your family, Beglal haktochas hatashil, if the food's not going to taste good, it's another reason to taste the food before Shabbos. Because it says in the pasuk that one of the reasons for our luck is near Shabbos is why? For Shalom Bayis. And therefore, the Machzer Vitri adds on that any element that will aid in the Shalom Bayis, you have to do. And therefore, by tasting the food, this is going to cause that there won't be fights. That's included in the Shalom Bayis. And the Mishnah Berurah brings down that as well, this is where it comes to sharpen the knife. etc. Let's say someone's fasting on Friday, says from God, he's still allowed to take the food and spit it out. Okay, that's the din of Toi'ameh'a, because it's not considered eating, similar to Tainus Sibur. Erev Shabbos Chazain, the special heter that potentially can even taste the meat foods. Again, you just have to be careful. That's not really tasting it. It's not the Toi'ameh'a that we have in our mind. It's the Toi'ameh'a of putting it in your mouth and spitting it out. And finally, the Shulchan Shleima, the Shartzim points out, the Etzem Toi'ameh'a is a mitzvah, says Dirshu note number 12, someone needs to make a bracha, says the Kav Chayim, you need to make a bracha, because of Adu, you're actually eating the item, and we'll continue and conclude Sefal for the next year, Siyata Dishmaya.